Hello, and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design, and culture, with your hosts,
Burns,
Mike,
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi. All right, now to the episode.
In this week's episode, the guys discuss if one style is enough and whether or not we need to diversify our styles. We also discuss if social media is a place to survive or thrive as a creative. Yeah, we're having a discussion about like styles and stuff. So I guess the context of it is that, okay, say you have a particular style. Maybe you're a designer, a videographer, a photographer, I don't know. And you had like a particular style. Would you want to nurture that and make that like your sort of your sole way of making money, or would you want to diversify like your style, if that makes sense? So for someone like, who can we use as an example? Who would be a good example? Okay, there's a guy called Ruben something. He's an illustrator. He done a lot of stuff for like England, like tournament and stuff.
Okay.
He does a lot of stuff for. I think he did something for. I think it was Tom Misch. He did something for as well.
Okay,
But he's got like a particular like illustrative style.
because in my head, the only person that pops up illustratively is Mason London.
Mason London.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ruben does something similar.
Okay,
Mason
okay.
London, but obviously that's his style. Now I think the question is, do you think that can last you for, I don't know, your whole working period, or do you feel like you need to diversify your skills in order to be relevant, or you know what I mean? Because maybe at this time, and I don't think it is, but at this time maybe the kind of illustration that Mason may do
Yeah.
is only for now. But in about 5 years' time,
You think he's gonna change?
no, I don't. I'm saying that.
Or like if he did?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he's definitely gonna stay in business.
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
But it's just more of like, what about if now the style became photography for every single album, like no more illustrations? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think that's realistic, or do you think you can ride like one style and literally?
I feel like you can definitely ride one style. Just because
Yeah.
I'm thinking like all the great artists in my head usually have one style. Like they're very definitive. You can tell. Even like if you go to music, you hear a Pharrell beat, you know that's the Pharrell beat.
Yeah.
You hear a Timbaland, like that sounds like Timbaland, or that's trying to sound like Timbaland, even if you hear like some fakes.
Yeah.
And the artists as well. Like in my head, I'm just thinking all the artists like Warhol, Rembrandt, like Picasso.
Yeah.
You know, Basquiat, like all these people have like very definitive styles, which is actually now I think about it, it's a bit scary because I'm thinking like, hold on, maybe we should as artists, but then that's the thing.
I don't know. I feel like in the music, I don't know if it works as much. Only reason I say that, someone like Russ, for example, that's doing like a lot of like the drill stuff at the moment.
Yeah,
Like, how much longer can you say body or D? Like,
you're rude.
no. I'm never like.
That's exactly what was in my brain.
Oh my god.
No, but how much longer can you continue churning that out?
Okay, no, I see what you mean, but the thing is, I feel like he's not necessarily, because you know how with most artists, now I think about it, like there's a development that we get to witness. So we get to see them start with maybe, I don't know, like a small sketch or a bit of a comic strip, and then they become like, okay, I'm gonna put this on the wall. What's the name of this artist? The one who does a lot of stuff with he does a lot of stuff with Bape, but also does a lot of stuff with Kanye West.
Nigo.
No, there's another one with the flower, multicolored flower with a smiley face in the middle.
Oh,
know
Steve
it's
Aoki. No.
Huh?
Wow, that was so off. That was
Oh my
so off.
god!
I really,
Eva,
wow,
who?
I really
Yeah,
just
you're in trouble for that one. I
Yeah.
can't lie.
cut that out.
That's staying in.
I really said
Time
But-
to hold
but
that.
The thing
Burns
is,
said,
I can see
maybe
the,
I can-
I can see the person's face.
he does,
but
yeah. They
I
have
don't
similar
know what-
features. I feel like that's what you're choosing.
That
That's
was
why.
so. I'm not all certain
Oh.
people of ethnicity look the
Man
same.
trying to
My
baby
bad,
himself.
my
How
bad,
can you?
my bad. Yo, I know who you're on about though, because
Yeah?
like they work with a lot of other like musicians as
Yep,
well. Like, they're really good in
exactly,
hip-hop.
exactly. And they do a lot of like fashion
Complex.
stuff.
There's a complex interview somewhere that I'll find
Yeah.
with his
But,
name.
yeah, actually, maybe, you know what? I think it depends on your industry. I think certain industries you can't ride one star. The only reason why I say that is because now I was thinking about Pixar with animations.
Yeah.
even though like they have a particular style, I know they've adapted it.
Yeah, but it's the story though. The story is
Because
always
I feel
the
like
same.
like
Yeah.
if Russ wasn't saying body yodi and he was talking about like deep stuff, but on the same beat, it probably might be more interesting. And if I think about it, someone like Swiss Beats has been making the same beat for about 25 years.
Showtime.
Like boom, like fam, even if you go to like even Shake a Tambourine with Eve, it's the same beat.
Yeah,
But it's just a different song. Like the what's the name? So Appalled with Kanye West, it's the same beat. Like most of the DMX stuff is the same beat, but it's because it's like a different story, a different rapper, a different approach, but it's the same beat.
Yeah, but it's the context that's important, isn't it?
Because I'm thinking like,
Even like design, I'll say like,
Yeah.
what about using Helvetica all the time? So for example, for my logo, my
Yeah.
Burn Studios is Helvetica.
yeah,
Now, for another project, Helvetica may also work for that.
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But-
yeah.
Cause that style works, I'm gonna use it because it makes more sense. I'm not just gonna not use it because it's mine.
Yeah.
Because it's not mine, I don't own it.
So
You know what I
if
mean?
that's the case, is there a point of being like a Swiss Army knife?
No, sometimes no. But I think I naturally don't like just doing one thing. I don't like just sitting around just doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm.
Like I need to do
Yeah.
different. To be honest, maybe the practice of it I don't like doing it, but actually maybe I am doing the same thing over and over again, but in like different
Avenues.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you know what I
Because
mean?
I'm just thinking like, how would you be able to like develop? Because as much as we both like we all say that we don't want to stick to something or we don't like doing one thing. We like if I see Michael's work, I know it's Michael's work. If I see Burns' work, I'm like, yeah, that looks
same
like
with you
Burns.
as well.
I'm not involved. But yeah, no, you know what I'm saying. So it's like it's just interesting to think
No,
about.
but that's your unique personality. That's what like all of us have like a unique signature that we can't see. So for example, when you like release
Yeah.
music and stuff, I know it's you, but it's not. It doesn't sound the same. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone has the unique sort of DNA that
Yeah.
you can identify them as that. But you can also identify when someone's doing something new.
Yeah. So how do you push into it though?
Just I've exploring new things. Like I was saying that today, I was listening to K-pop and I was watching like BBC 4 documentaries. Like I never do that, but that's because I'm trying to think differently. I'm trying to
Yeah.
explore other cultures and other ways of doing things. So that's how you push into those things. Like so, even in Dave's album, Nathan was talking about how like when you want to like sort of like be more creative, go to
Yeah.
a different country
Mm-hmm.
and live there. Because basically, even musicians, artists, whatever, like when you go to a different country, say for example you go to, and I'll use Ghana because it's a pretty easy example, but say for example you're I don't know, Asian man, Pakistani man from London, and you go to Ghana, you might hear a story from Ghana that now you can voice out for some.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think you have to expose yourself to those new environments to be able to push into new territories. To be fair,
It's like what we spoke about 2 weeks ago. When we mentioned, don't leave my brain now. When we mentioned the whole when somebody is like new in an industry, like when they're like discovered and they aren't like formally educated on something,
Yeah.
the quote unquote industry or like the people around would be like, oh, that's someone's really exciting or they're really cool. And then we even like had a discussion about, does that person stay outside of like learning about the fundamentals and that kind of thing, or do they kind of just get in it like and stuff? And I think we all kind of roughly said that it will be best to kind of learn more and educate yourself more and like to give yourself that kind of new experience that you've never really had before.
Yeah.
Because in a way, you being on the outside now coming in is different in itself. So then you learning that essential information, that's new information, that's something completely different, like going to a different country, for example. So I think, the whole idea of like immersing yourself in something different and trying out new things, experimenting. And I feel like probably we may not, as creatives, maybe we don't like to do that as much because of like, we're so
experimenting.
like because
That's
we're
true, you
like
know.
because what we know, we're like, okay, cool, this is our go-to, this is what we're comfortable with. But when we're experimenting, sometimes it's like, oh, this is new.
Thank you for supporting us by listening. Be sure to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. Enjoy the rest of the conversation.
What do you think holds? I think the only thing that comes to mind is probably finances.
But
No.
like, okay, so you see
Yeah.
this here, like
Yeah.
what Michael was saying is very, very true. Because like even me, like I pride myself at trying so many different things,
Yeah.
but I always use a similar or the same avenue, and this is like actually quite not triggering, but just like really, really like stimulating, because I'm just thinking like how most of the time we make some amazing work, but obviously we put on Instagram and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's like it's such a limiting space. Like I'm just thinking, like for example, some of the things that I put there, even if it's like audio stuff, like if I had people in rooms playing the same audio with maybe the similar graphics, but in a more situated
Like,
situation.
you can only hear it there.
Yeah, or not even necessarily only hear it there, but it's a completely
Different
Different
environment.
experience.
yeah, it's a
Right.
different experience, and it's a very personal one, because it's like you know how when you see a movie, let's say Disney Plus is a perfect example.
Yeah.
When you watch a Disney Plus movie or whatever in your room, it's a different experience to when you're in the cinema.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a completely different. Like you can time yourself. You're like, okay, when I was here, or even when you're listening to music. Like imagine you're walking or you're doing something very memorable, and you are listening to a particular like
When I'm
song.
when I'm designing, I always remember what projects I was doing when I listened to that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that. There's a lot of cues, and it's like I'm just thinking sometimes stuff like Instagram, maybe sometimes YouTube, it kind of like stunts that moment, because it's like people do that. People use social media now in a very mundane way. It's like, okay, scroll, like, oh, this sounds cool. Okay, great. And it's not a thing of like, oh, this is an experience that deserves my whole attention.
No, because it's free.
You know?
It's free and very accessible.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like sometimes even as artists, when we try to create, we might be like, and yeah, it might be disheartening, because it's like you're trying amazing new things,
Yeah.
but you're not necessarily getting the reaction that you want.
That's actually what stops me from exploring
know?
a bit more. Because it's
Really?
like, yeah, because I think it's like, and the reason why I say finance is because sometimes I feel like if I want to put all this money into it and almost get nothing out of it,
I hear
Yeah,
that.
you
yeah.
want it to
Yeah,
be like
yeah,
people are
yeah.
actually like pay attention
Yeah.
to it.
It's like what's the
Yeah.
it's like what's the point?
Yeah,
because I'm not like a Kanye West that can do 1 million.
and even Kanye was disappointed.
Yes, exactly. But as in,
Yeah.
he's down to a point now where he can do whatever he wants because he's
True.
got the resources to do that. Obviously, you don't need money to do everything, but it's like at this current stage in time.
Fam.
To be honest, I'm thinking of taking a break from design for a bit. Like, not obviously I work in design, but
Yeah.
like personally and actually just doing new stuff.
Yeah,
Just so I can just like recharge and actually
Yeah.
think of new ways of doing stuff. Because it's like, if you don't,
That's how you grow, to be honest. innit?
exactly,
True.
You usually come back stronger.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Come
Match, match.
Yeah.
This is fact. No, legit. I wanna, yeah.
Yeah, because it's
That's
like
tough.
it's such a like I think about it, like honestly, it's such a it's so sad, because like sometimes like I think this week alone, I think 3 of my friends on social media have left.
Oh.
Have they social media?
They literally said like I'm deleting my Insta, I'm deleting
Goals.
my like it's so weird.
So
And it's
where
so scary.
where are they going to?
And this is the issue.
Where they
'Cause
gonna
it's like
exist
I
now?
was speaking to one of my friends, and I was like, bro, now that you've deleted social media, what are you saying? Like, what are you doing? It's like he just wants to live life and actually like do things in real
Yeah,
life.
Yeah.
And it's like
But then
I hear
can,
it.
Can you do that if the people that you're doing that life with are still on social media?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can, because
yeah.
I guess the way it'll work is like you can do your thing and live life, but then if there's anything, at least there's people to bring it into the digital space.
If they need to,
yeah,
if they want to, or
if
if
they
they
want
want
to.
to, yeah.
It's really weird because it's like right now it's very hard to think of a world where we don't have any social media.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, oh, you don't have any social media, because the thing is, they still have the luxury of choice and say I can come back. But the thing is, like,
But are they gonna come? Do they want to come back?
when I asked him, he did actually say like he might come back. But the thing is that he feels like it's not good for him because it makes him doubt his work. And I feel like sometimes that's what happens when
Yeah.
a lot of creatives are on social media.
Yeah.
Like
If
you
you
know how
ain't
we're
getting the love
speaking.
like that.
Yeah, like we have like so many amazing people, and I can't lie. Even till now, some of my highlights are being in an exhibition and showing my work.
Yeah.
And it sounds old school, but it's not. It's like you're there. People are coming there asking you with
That's
intent.
facts,
Like,
though.
what were you thinking when you did this?
Yeah.
It's not like if someone drops a comment under your thing and says fire, or drops fire emojis, or drops a crown or champagne. It's not the same. Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm not
Because it's
gonna
like
lie.
it's such a like,
That'll probably even piss me off. I'm
bro,
not gonna lie.
like it's so sad to think about.
Champagne.
Yeah,
love hearts are.
I can't lie. That's me. I do that to a lot of people. I'll be like, "This is fire." Like,
But
I'll even
that's
tell
a way
them
of responding. That's a way of like.
it's social media,
it,
innit?
But also,
Giving
it's like
accolades.
because especially there's certain like things that you work on. It's like, have you actually interacted with it? Because if you're saying this
Yep,
is
yep,
fire,
yep,
it means that
yep,
maybe
yep.
you haven't really read or
Fire.
seen.
Do you know what's in my content that you're
No,
saying?
as in, or like, whoa, so talented, like
Yeah.
so crazy,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah,
and it's like,
outrageous work.
or no,
Out as well.
or sometimes it's like, oh, just I can maybe comment about the work.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what did you get from it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is what I meant when I kind of said, for me, like the episode before about fantasy and like being so caught up in like the escapism,
Yeah.
that I'm trying to like bring more like real life stuff into
Right,
the
right,
work.
right.
So it's like thinking about, okay, cool, whether it's an exhibition or things that are more physical that I can like really interact with, or not that whole feedback loop of posting to social media, getting a response, coming back, going to social media, getting a response, coming back.
Short,
because
like
it's
amount of
very
dopamine and
time-
like
exactly.
like you want to keep going.
need-
yeah.
yeah.
And it goes back to the last episode about meaning. What meaning are we giving to Instagram? What meaning are we giving to Twitter? Like, what's the meaning of it? Because now,
What do you even matter, Burns? Like, think about it. In your head, you're like, "Yo, this is the most amazing work," and you go and put it there. And someone says, "Man,
No, but
just
I hear that though. It's like, because even like from a strategy perspective,
you have to
like,
use it to some extent.
you have to think, okay, for every platform, what am I using each platform for?
Yeah.
Because like, let's say influencers, for example, there's certain content they'll post on Instagram. Certain influencers, because sometimes people just be sharing reels and TikToks on both.
Yeah.
But like, there's certain things that will be on Instagram that won't be on TikTok. Certain things that won't be on TikTok that will be on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I guess we would have to be more intentional about, okay, what are we going to use?
that's
each
why I
thing
came
for?
off. That's why I came off Twitter.
Yeah,
Because I was like,
yeah.
number one, I don't want to share my mind on Twitter anymore because it just felt like, why do these people even care? I'm tweeting this stuff and I'm like, okay, so if someone now disagrees with me, what, I'm gonna get into an argument online?
yeah."
Or, no, but it's just
I
like,
would.
what?
I
And
like,
then
I like
I
that.
think second I was like, and obviously I know you can follow who you want to follow, but at
Yeah.
the same time, people are gonna get retweeted onto your feed and all that kind of stuff. And I think
Okay.
I was seeing a lot of nonsense. So I was like,
Early morning antics. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
so I was like, all right, let me come off this. And I think because I had Instagram as well, I was like, all right, at least the funny things may come on. Obviously, I'll miss a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But someone at least will send me something if it pops
If
up.
you're
or-
missing
Do
anything.
you know what I mean? So I'm not really fast. That's why I only exist on Instagram now.
Cause like me, it's such a scary thing to think about. Cause it's like
But
there's
don't-
so many
yeah.
people who like me. What stresses me out is like Michael was saying about the interaction. People interact with things, but don't really. I remember like I dropped a picture saying, "Oh, thank God I'm 25," and people were dropping fire emojis, and I was just kinda like, "Bro, like say happy birthday at least." Like, and you know the funny thing is, someone's like, "Oh, cool picture." I was like, "Oh, thanks, it's my birthday picture." Like, "Oh, it's your birthday. Oh, happy birthday."
They didn't.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't read like people
we've
don't read
learned-
anything.
We say it as well.
we've
People don't read.
Yo,
Like,
people
people
read,
don't
don't
be
read.
reading
People
anything.
don't read.
This is a spoiler alert, but it's not really a spoiler alert. But anyway, when we first started this podcast, I think people thought our
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
wasn't out.
Wasn't
Yeah.
out yet, but we said in everything, episode out now.
Yep.
Oh, when is it gonna drop?
It's
Episode
out.
out now.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
When does it drop? On what platform?
yeah,
And it's like,
every
we don't
every
read.
every platform, every Wednesday.
And I think
and it's like nope.
that goes into like, today's age, like the attention economy or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. Like they say, oh, you need to create stuff that's 2 to 5 seconds. And I remember speaking to somebody about it because they were like, our brands are really like, oh my god. Somebody at work actually. So they're working with obviously a company. And they're working on like TikTok content because I'm part of like the social content division. So ironic. Oh, God. Yeah, the social content division. So like creating TikToks, and the TikToks are like 6 seconds long.
6.
Yeah. So they were like,
That's short, bro.
and the reason why is because they're like, oh yeah, because we had like the review and the experts. I think they had a meeting with a social media company. They were like, oh yeah, 6 seconds is like the prime time to catch people's attention. So now they've been restricted to that 6 seconds, and now everybody is like, okay, we've got to cater to that 6 seconds. Whereas sometimes
That
you
makes
might
sense- that
actually be
makes
able
sense
to
to me.
like
That makes sense.
educate or like push your audience to expect to stay for longer
Yeah,
rather than be controlled by the algorithm. It reminds me of like another conversation my friend and I had, and we were talking about like best times to like post content and stuff.
Does it matter?
If it's your job,
Okay,
I
yeah,
feel
if
like
it's
it
your job,
means
yeah,
more.
yeah, of
But
course.
if you're creative, because I think you then have to ask yourself like, okay, what am I actually doing this for? Because if I'm sharing for the likes and for the clout and stuff, cool, which I understand to some degree, because obviously if you want to make it your career, you need people's support and that kind of thing. But like, I think we need to think about why we're doing it and what we want out of it, because that's where a lot of people get disappointed. They're like, oh, I need to post at this time, or oh, I'm not going to post this anymore because I've missed the time.
6 p.m.
And
What is that, 6:15?
And I remember having the conversation like with them, like, but this is stopping you from like releasing the work. And for me, I'm the type of person now. I think at first I was like, oh my god, if I post at like 2 a.m,
no one's gonna
see it. But I think because I've done it so many times now, like, hopefully, I'd like to think that the algorithm at that time was like, okay, cool. Well, people will see it in the morning when you wake up, and that's fine. So I think we had like there's the balance of being informed by all of these things, but how are we then going to use it all? Rather than being controlled by it all. And I think like that's why, like, for example, your friend left because he felt okay, cool.
It's not doing what he wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will. Yeah. We pray that it gets better, because I can't lie, people are really struggling on there, and a lot of people are getting overlooked.
Thanks guys for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _man like Mike,
and Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.